Hello and welcome to the Stranger Things Season 1 recap. Brought to you by...
Season 2 with Nerds of the Verse and EuroHybrid.
Yep.
Can't let you have a clean intro. That would be fair. And I'm not a fair person.
What they said.
Yes.
I'm just here for the ride.
Yeah, so it's me, Peter, from EuroHybrid, Callum and Jacob from Nerds of the Verse. No Will, because I think he's
dying.
Yep, taken to the other world. The underworld.
He's upside down. Did you even watch the show?
Upside down.
Pete, how could you?
Underworld sounds better than Upside Down World anyway, but, you know.
No, it's called the Upside Down. That's literally what it's called.
That's actually what it's called. It's the Upside Down. It's like what they name it because they're kids. You get it? And they use the board to explain. Anyway, let's talk about Season 1 of Stranger Things. So we've all watched it once, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
How far did everyone get in the rewatch?
Episode 4.
Okay, I got the furthest. Yay!
Yeah.
I got to episode 5. And Jacob, how much, Jacob?
I watched the first episode like a week ago.
Nice. That's useful. We'll use that. Let's try. Well, I mean, there's not many episodes, so we might be able to go quickly touch on each one.
Yeah.
So, the opening episode, Chapter 1, because it's in chapters apparently.
Yeah, The Vanishing of Will Byers.
The Vanishing of Will Byers, written by the Duffer Brothers and directed by the Duffer Brothers. You hear that a lot because they're the only people involved. So, what can I say about this opening episode apart from... So, 25% of the dialogue is references to something else, and another 25% is just referring to each other by name.
Well, it's the setup episode. It's the episode where got to introduce all the characters, got to get to know them, and
Yeah. So we're introduced to
all of
it
them.
opens on a lab where a man is running through a corridor and then gets eaten by something, which is pretty. It's not scary. The opening to a horror show, you want it to be like, oh damn son, and it was a bit like. That was a bit
you want a bit more tension to it.
You want tension, you want fear. I've noticed this. I didn't realise it before. The cold open to every episode is super long. It doesn't it keeps on changing amounts per episode. Episode 5's got a really long one. It starts off slow, but then they realise, oh, we haven't played the credits yet. Hurry it up! We're running out of time. Anyway, he gets killed. Then we're introduced to 4 kids. Mike, Dustin, Lucas, and Will, and they're playing Dungeons and Dragons, and they get the Demogorgon wrong. But
I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a show that says it's playing Dungeons and Dragons that gets it right.
Good point.
As someone that GMs Dungeons and Dragons, I've just learned to live with it.
Yeah, I haven't actually played Dungeons and Dragons, so I was fine with just ignoring any sort of technical problems with that.
Yeah. I mean, I run Dungeons and Dragons games, and even I'm I don't care anymore.
Anyway, they're at Mike's house, right? Yes.
Yeah, it's Mike's house.
Yeah, they're at Mike's house, and then Mike's mother comes down and goes, oh, okay, time to go, kids. And then they, at the middle of the night, alone, cycle home.
Well, this was before everyone got... everyone's parents were terrified.
Everyone knows each other. But still, come on! How old are they meant to be?
I wonder how far away each house is.
I used to cycle home and stuff when I was a kid about that age all the time.
12 years old. But at pitch black.
Yeah. I used to do it.
Yeah, but you lived in Hull. You had to grow up from the age of 4. Anyway, then they all split off, and then there's some joke about an X-Men comic, which is I'm not sure if that's how they would have really treated comics back then, but sure, whatever. Anyway, then Will, the kid that you hear a lot about but hardly see, gets home and no one's home, which is... How did he explain away his brother not being there?
His brother would say that he was actually working on that day.
Do we ever find out what his job is?
No, I don't think we ever do.
Because he never works again.
Doesn't he work at the shop or something?
No, because he never works there. It's never mentioned again. He just said it was working.
Oh.
Anyway, so he gets in there, and then it's like, oh, tension. Oh, there's something chasing him. The like, he has to run into the shed, and his dog's barking, and there's a dangling light that begins to flicker, and he gets a shotgun, and then Will vanishes.
Yep.
And the next morning, his mother's waking up and can't find him, and starts panicking a little bit. And then, like, so it's just kind of the setup. So we're introduced to different characters, and then we're introduced to Chief Hopper, who's like set up to be this really bad cop. Like, he's drunk, he's lost a child, he doesn't give two damns about anything. Turns out he is the best damn cop in the world.
Yeah, he is super detective.
Yeah, like, because that makes sense. And then we have cuts back to the lab team. They're like looking at this giant wall of flesh. It's the like black, mysterious goo flesh stuff. And then we're introduced to 11, who is run away from somewhere and wearing like a yellow medical gown.
Yeah, it looks kind of like a hospital gown type thing.
And she meets Benny, one of the best characters in this show.
Yeah,
it's a bit pity that one.
2 episodes. We also introduced the science teacher this episode, who seems like the nicest guy in the world.
I say the science teacher. It seems like he is almost set up. I don't know. He's playing well above his league when you see his girlfriend late in the series. It's like this. It's like, oh, you expect, because it's the problem in prior modern sensibilities. We think, oh, a person who's, I don't know, it's sort of people worried about adults spending too much time with children, but it's like, oh, he does not care about. He just care about the science. Like, he gets the ham radio in this episode, doesn't he?
Yeah, but didn't you say you said that Benny lasts 2 episodes?
Yeah.
No, I thought
Benny dies at the end of this one.
Oh God, you're right.
Benny doesn't even last the first episode.
That's a shame. He was pretty good. Anyway.
He lasts a whole 1/8 of
He lost the whole 1 episode. So, like, to summarise this episode, the kids start looking for Will, the police start looking for Will, because Will disappears, his mum starts going crazy, his brother starts looking for him, and then there's this random girl who walks into a restaurant owned by this nice man called Benny. At first, he's angry that she's stealing food, but then realises that she's probably run away from somewhere and needs help, so he starts helping her.
Yeah.
And then he calls child services. Then this woman turns up from child services and shoots him in the head.
Yep.
And there goes one of the 2 deaths in the show that actually matter. So, yeah.
I can guess who you think the other one is.
Yeah. They're the only 2 deaths that matter. Alright. Okay. So that's episode 1. Overall, it's
an alright opening.
Scary.
But it's an alright opening to the show. I think it does a good job of introducing all the characters, good job of, setting up the mystery.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure it's a pretty good episode for setting up everything for the rest of the series.
Here's where I disagree.
Okay.
You see too much. You see how Will goes. Like, you see like certain elements of Will's appearance that are later, when people come around to investigate, are mysteries to them, but we already know the answer. If we didn't know the answer to him, it'd be more open to interpretation, or more like you'd ask yourself more questions if you didn't know what he'd done. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I kind of get it.
When Hopper goes into that shed and starts investigating things, he picks up on certain things. We already know exactly why they're there.
Yeah.
And it's just a shame in my book. I think that this show says too much too soon. It doesn't leave you with the mystery. A lot of stuff, like 11, there's a bit like later on in the show, there's a suggestion that 11 might have killed Will. It's like a small hint at it, but based on the show, we know that's not true.
Yeah.
But they suggest it, and it's like, well, maybe if you hadn't shown us certain things, we might have actually been able to think about that. It didn't have to be true. It's just, yeah, that's my only complaint. And also, this is probably the only episode I can stand the mother in. She just gets awful from here on out. So then we'll go on to episode 2, The Weirdo of Maple Street.
Is this the one where was Steve in the first episode, or was he?
No, this is the episode where we get introduced to Steve, and
who is the worst, as they say.
Yeah, He is the worst.
The thing is, they throughout this season, they try to almost make some sort of redemption arc with Steve because
it doesn't work.
He is still not a
He's
good person.
insufferable
even
arsehole.
slightly. Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, Nancy should have been probably single at the end of the season, not.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know, maybe you shouldn't have killed Barbara. If you're not going to do anything with it. Spoilers, Barbara dies.
Well, I mean, this is we're just going through the season's not really. Spoilers
Anyway,
spoilers are
episode 2,
confirmed.
it's kind of a meh episode. You just introduce some new elements. You introduce to more of the characters, and then 11 meets the boys, and then Hopper starts investigating with Joyce, and then this is the episode where Joyce starts going utterly mental.
Yeah. Isn't this the one where you have Will's brother snooping with the camera?
No, that's next episode.
I thought this was it, because then he sees Barb get...
No, that is the next episode.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Oh, no.
No, because episode 3
No,
is the one where it opens with Barb
Sorry,
dying.
sorry, because episode 3 opens on the sex scene. Yeah. No, you're right. There's so much that happens in each episode. It's like an hour long each.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Nancy, who is the sister of Mike, she's also a main character in the show because there are 3 generations of characters, right? You've got Joyce and
Hopper.
Yeah.
Then you've got the middle bit, which is
Nancy, Steve, and Jonathan.
Steve and Jonathan.
Yep.
And then you've got Mike, Lucas,
Dustin.
Dustin and 11.
And 11. And Will is kind of like a theme more than an actual character.
Yeah, kinda.
He's basically a plot. He's just he could just be a box and it wouldn't make any difference. But this is also the episode where we get the charred phone from where Joyce picks up the phone and she hears breathing.
Oh yeah,
And it's burst, and it's also the episode where the wall starts to creep out at her.
Oh yeah. I think that was probably one of I thought one the walls creeping out at her was some of the best parts of the episode.
Yeah, and then there's also you're right. Barb and Nancy go to a party at Steve's.
Yep.
Barb doesn't really want to be there, but Nancy took her along, and I think she demanded she go with her to make sure Nancy was okay. And then she feels a bit like a third wheel, so while everyone else is off banging, she sits in a pool and then gets killed or taken away by something, and Jonathan is taking he's taking photographs of it, but suddenly fails to notice the giant monster that abducts Barb.
Yeah.
Because he's just happening to look down at the right time.
Yeah, and he's also busy, taking pictures of the other girl undressing.
Yeah. Anyway, episode 3. Oh god, this is the worst episode ever. Okay, so mini rant incoming. So this episode opens on the most irritating scene in the whole show.
It opens on Barb in the pool, doesn't it?
Nope. It opens on Nancy and Steve having sex in Steve's bed while Barb is getting killed by a monster.
Right, yeah.
So it's one scene compared to another. So basically, it's symbolic of Nancy losing her innocence, because Barb is a symbolization of her innocence, right?
Okay.
So as she's having sex with Steve, losing her innocence, Barb is killed by a mysterious monster in a world from the upside down world. This should be a moment of realization for Nancy that the people that she's now hanging out with aren't good people, or that should be her her arc, right? That should be kind of her arc. She investigates into Barb, and as she does, she realizes, not because there's any connection, but she just realizes in her life how much Barb meant to her and how much of an arsehole Steve is. The problem is, this is not the arc of the show. Instead, Nancy becomes, do I go with Steve or do I go with Jonathan? Do I go with Steve or do I go with Jonathan? I've got a thing for both of them. That is her arc. She might do some badass things, but she's still written like, God, it's awful. Now, I want to have a big rant here. This is my small rant. My big rant is, so there was this big thing about how Barb's death is really upsetting to some fans and stuff like that. And a lot of people saying, well, maybe she had a thing for Nancy. That is not written into the show. There is no way that whoever wrote those episodes had any intention of that. It may have came out in performance or while directing it, but that was not written into the show. But the writers will never comment on it, because if they say something, they're doomed. Because if they say it's not, then people are going to get mad. And if they say they do, people are going to get mad because it wasn't a thing that carried on.
Yep.
It's better for them to stay silent so that fans get emotionally invested into a character who wasn't very well written.
And she was in it for a maximum of 2 1/10 of an episode.
Yeah.
So in the grand scheme of things,
it is Benny is actually a well-rounded character. There's depth to like him. Barb, there's no depth to her. She's like, the actress is great. Don't get me wrong. I really enjoy what the actress did with it. It's just that is no depth to her character. They are retroactively writing depth into her character next season because her parents are now main characters. Yeah. I think we're going to retroactively find out certain things about her that the writers didn't intend.
Is the actress actually coming back for doing like flashbacks or?
No. I maybe, I don't know. I don't really care. But that's my rant. It's that her death is pointless in the grand scheme of the show, and at this point, it's just become a writer's tool to manipulate the audience. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Anyway, meanwhile, the lads meet 11 after school, and stuff happens, and then they find out. I can't really remember what happens in this episode because I was so mad about.
She has like a flashback to when she's doing experiments back in the laboratory.
With Brenner was his name?
Yeah, Dr. Brenner. Oh yeah, she sees a Coca-Cola advert on the telly and gets a traumatic flashback to Coca-Cola. Yeah, that's what happens in this episode. The police try and get into the laboratory too.
Didn't she try and kill a cat or something?
Oh, she did kill a cat.
No, I thought they wanted her to kill a cat, and
but Brenner wanted her to kill a cat, and she refused, so she got put in solitary.
I thought they made her do it.
No,
I don't know.
She didn't, but then she killed two men instead.
Oh
yeah, when she breaks out of the cell, yeah.
This is also the episode where Joyce, for God's sake, I can't talk about her without regretting watching this show. Can I just mention something? Everyone says that she was such a great performance. She's terrible. She's so bad. There's a scene in episode 5 where you've got Joyce and Chief Hopper in the same room, and Joyce is doing her thing, and then Hopper's acting, and like the difference in acting quality is crazy. One is doing something that's relatively realistic and feels like it could be an actual character, and one is a fucking clown. She cannot act to save her life. I'm sorry. Or maybe she can, but in this show she does such a bad job. She just goes so far in the wrong direction for it. Anyway, she buys Christmas lights because she needs to communicate with Will, who may or may not be in the underworld. This is what confuses me. It's never explained how Will can communicate with her in that world.
Well, it's explained that that world and this world are inherently linked, and things affect. Like when the monster was, there was a scene later on where they were walking down the road in the Upside Down. As they were walking down that road, the street lights were flickering just from their presence in the real world.
Yeah. Another problem I've got is, how the hell does everyone else who goes in the Upside Down only survive about 2 seconds, while Will manages to survive an entire 10 episodes?
Because reasons.
Yeah, it's so inconsistent. Like, all right, we're sending this scientist guy in. He's got a rope attached to him. Nope, lasts about 2 seconds. Barbara lasts about 2 seconds. Everyone else who's in it goes there lasts about 2 seconds, unless they're a main character. It's dumb, inconsistent, and annoying. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I just felt that. I mean, towards when Will is like obviously located, they're showing the effects of being in that world on him.
Yeah.
So it's more like a low level, almost like radioactive environment or heavy polluted environments. That if you do manage to survive the immediate dangers, someone from like our world will not survive for a protracted period of time. So they do show some effects over time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's obviously confusing thing. How did Will survive in the first place?
Yeah, but also so in this episode we finally get the reveal of his body, even though we know he's alive.
Yep.
It's like, wait, what? Stop showing us things and then having these big reveals that we're sat there going, yeah, but that's not real. Like, that dead body, we know is not real. Because we know that he's communicating with Joyce. Like, it's such an anticlimax. It's like this big thing at the end of the episode. You're like,
Wait,
for the characters...
We're on episode 4 now, right?
No, this is the end of episode 3.
Oh, I mean, to be honest, like the Will's body is this way of, I think it's just pausing the plot a bit.
There's a cover up.
Yeah, pausing, like trying to like almost pause the Joyce/Hopper plot and move in a different direction.
Yeah.
So it's a waste of time then. Good. Hope you all agree.
I was going to say, wait a second before we go into episode 4. I mean, episode 3, we do get sort of Jonathan's. He gets his camera smashed by Steve, and it's.
Yeah.
I think I'm at the point where Nancy should realise that Steve is a bad person to hang around with, not just considering the whole,
or just an inkling.
Also,
something's not right.
Jonathan himself is a bit of a creepy guy for taking those. Like, neither of them are a good choice.
Yeah. I'm always confused by Jonathan. I don't know if the writers intended him to be creepy or misunderstood.
Yes.
I think it's a bit of both, I would guess.
I don't know if he did intend to take pictures of her undressing or he just didn't know what
he
to do.
He pointed the cameras and took the pictures. He intended to.
Well, yeah, but like, did he point before she undressed and then as she undressed pull the trigger?
I think he took several photos of her.
Yeah, he took more than one.
Whatever. Well, the show treats him like a damn hero, so whatever. It was the 80s. Everything was different. That was a joke. Don't take that seriously, for Christ's sake. Anyway, episode 4, the body. God, I got triggered so much in this episode. So, like, the body, as I said earlier, is really dumb. Because somehow they managed to make a realistic-looking body that looks like Will Byers, but then filled in with fluff.
Yep.
Did they not think that by chance someone might investigate the body and be a bit suspicious? If you can make authentic-looking skin that looks like Will Byers with the birthmark that you don't know's there, why not make fake organs?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I mean, perhaps my favourite part is essentially this episode. Essentially, is like Hopper breaking all sorts of rules and laws, just not giving a damn, punching up state officers to get this body. It's like, all right, I'm just chatting about a spelling bee or something.
He also goes to the pub and meets Captain Mitchell. Yeah, I remember this. Yeah. So you know when he goes to the pub and he's talking to the guy in the pub. That's Captain Mitchell from Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue.
You always have to find some sort of way to throw Power Rangers into every video we make, don't you?
And I will succeed until the day I die.
That's our Callum. Da, 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 da.
He's also a great actor and needs to be in more stuff.
Yeah.
But he will always and forever be Captain Mitchell. Anyway... so he breaks up like all the rules. Like that's what confuses me. Like he's this really great cop, but the only thing his like drug and medication and like alcoholism needs to do is he breaks the rules every now and again.
Yeah.
Like we get the suggestion he's this really complex, like tortured character. We get about two. Like it's so PG. The show it's too PG for its own good.
I mean. with the overall show, I mean, it's not really aimed. It's not aimed at children, so it's not too like.
Who is it aimed at?
I think
I think it's a tween.
It's almost aimed at people who perhaps remembered times of living in the 80s.
Yeah, and you know what they remember about the 80s? Do you know what they remember about the 80s? That horror films used to be gory as hell. They used to be scary. Do you know what came out in the 80s? The Thing.
Yeah,
all the major slasher films came out then. These are the films that defined their generation. These are the movies that are affecting. There's literally a poster in Jonathan's room of The Evil Dead, a film that was so gory, so scary. In our country, in the UK, it started films getting banned, and yet this show has no balls. It's Stephen King, but missing all the balls. Stephen King, he would write it, and he'd just write stuff. Like, there was stuff in his books that don't translate well to films because they're so out there and a little bit risque. This show has nothing risque in it. It's just, here's the show. Let's just water it down. Let's not have a mystery. Let's tell everyone the answers and then have the characters slowly realise everything after the audience already know everything, just in case the audience asks too many questions and get confused. Let's take away all the horror from the show. Let's undercut all the tension. Let's hide all the gory details. Let's try and use horror cliches, but not go full-fledged with them. Let's make everything happy and full of sunflowers and roses. It fails to be what it advertises itself as, and that's a horror show based around the 80s. It's a Disney-fied version of the 80s horror movie cliches. That's what it is. Sorry, rant over.
And we're back in the room.
Yep.
Right. I did like in this episode, sort of how Jonathan is basically deciding not to believe what his mother's saying because he's convinced about the body.
Yeah.
There's almost like a conflict between mother and son. Like, she wants to believe the things she's hearing, but he's almost trying to be rational.
And it would be interesting if we didn't know the truth.
Yeah.
This is my point.
It is like the biggest problem this show has, is it tells you too much too soon.
You know literally all the answers by episode 3.
Yeah.
Like, you get more details, but you've pretty much figured out the entire plot by episode 3, and if you haven't, you're an idiot. I honestly think this show is written for idiots who don't understand things. Like, Stephen King is too complicated for them, so they had to have something dumbed down. We also get the episode where they force gender identities onto 11.
Yeah.
With the most realistic fake wig I've ever seen. You know how that wig she's wearing is meant to be fake?
Yeah.
It's cinema level. It's cinema level wigging. Like what they've done to make it fit like into her, like to make it look like it's on her scalp. It's like they've got a makeup artist do it.
Do you know what annoys me? For some reason, 11's fake hair looked more real than Mike's.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
When I was watching it, that's Mike's real hair, but for some reason it looks less real than 11's wig.
Yeah. I wouldn't have a problem with them like choosing to put 11 in that clothing, right? I get why 3 young 12-year-old boys would do that. It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
What I find annoying is how 11 just goes like that. She just accepts it. Like, I don't know. I get it's the 80s and I get it's written by men, but come on. Do something interesting with it. The 80s were a time of change. Like, she could wear it and then go, I don't really like this. See something in a magazine and restyle herself. I know that sounds really cheesy, but it's more interesting.
Or just be like, can I borrow some of your clothes?
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? She doesn't want to dress like a girl because she doesn't hang out with girls. She hangs out with the lads.
She's grew up in a lab. She doesn't know.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it's like there's a really good speech in episode 5. I think we should just move on to episode 5 now because
not much more happens in episode 4.
Not much more happens in this episode. Apart from that Joyce makes a hole in her wall.
Oh wait, no. We have a big thing that happens in episode 4. Isn't episode 4 the one where 11 uses the walkie-talkie to talk to Will? for a bit. Like,
yes, it is.
You can hear Will through the walkie-talkie.
Yeah, because next episode they try and ask the science teacher how to travel to another dimension.
Yeah.
Speaking of episode 5, this is the episode 5 where Hopper breaks into the lab. And he makes it out, doesn't he? Somehow.
Sort of.
No, sorry, someone drugs him and he wakes up in his house and then he goes a bit crazy.
Yeah. Because they
and
do
also,
the whole,
like,
ooh,
Lonnie.
was it real? Or...
Lonnie, Will's father, he's also in this episode a bit.
Yeah.
We get the funeral in this episode. We get the kids asking the coolest science teacher ever. Like, is it just me, or was I the only person who was like, the science teacher's too nice? Like, there's going to be something that's revealed about him that's like makes him, as I said again, is so PG down. He's like the best teacher ever. Like, he understands Dungeons and Dragons. He helps these like unpopular kids get like have fun. It's like I get.
I had teachers like that.
Yeah, but like I don't know. I just don't trust people.
I mean, the problem if you wanted some sort of strange backstory is perhaps you're chucking like another antagonist when you don't really need one.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you need to give him like an antagonist next. I don't think he has to become an antagonist. He just shouldn't be like squeaky clean. No one in the show is squeaky clean, apart from him. This is also the episode where the kids start fighting over L because they use compasses to like try and follow this like magnetic north, which they think the portal's changing.
Which, in theory, it would have done, but 11 was moving the needles with her mind.
So Lucas gets really angry, and then L almost kills the kid.
Oh yeah, like that was the point where this show went. For me, it was like, where are you trying to go? Because everything else is so PG-ified, and then you have two children literally nearly murdering each other.
But here's the thing, like, this is the point of the show, I agree, but for different reasons. The show just went,
Yeah.
We don't know what we're doing. Let's just throw everything in there, because we're running out of ideas, or we have too many ideas and couldn't decide on them.
Yeah.
I think this is also this is also the episode where Nancy's like looking for all the photos that he took off Jonathan, and actually notices the monster in the photo.
Nope, that's episode 4. No, it's not. It's episode 3.
No,
that's right. It was episode 4.
It's episode 4. Yeah, that happens before then because this is the episode where they go out shooting together.
No, pretty sure it's episode 5.
Nope.
I'm looking at the wiki right now.
Just watched episode 5.
I also have the wiki up right now.
Yeah.
That's how I've been saying all this stuff. I've just wanted to seem smart, but I'm telling you now, actually, I'm looking at the wiki.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, that happens last episode. It kind of comes up again, and they go searching for the monster. And then Jonathan's got a really great speech about how she's not a rebel. Like, I think it's something along the lines of... Because they start bitching at each other, really. And then he goes... yeah, and what are you? Someone who's like being a rebel, like, but just being a rebel in the same way that every suburban teen is.
Yeah.
And by the end, you'll just end up like your mother. And it's like, damn! Now do something about it. Oh wait, they won't, because her character won't change at all. Great. At the end of the episode, they go into the end. She goes into the Upside Down.
Yeah.
And then she sees a monster.
They find a tree, don't they?
Eating like a deer. Yeah. And then so the next episode opens, and to be quite honest, it's quite tense.
Yeah.
If quite tense it's basically the same scene from Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban when Harry's avoiding the Dementors and the werewolf in the forest. Yeah. It's that level of scary, which is like not very, but at least it's something. And then she uses Jonathan's voice to escape the Upside Down, like he's calling out for her. Maybe they're a couple, or maybe they have a thing for each other. But that won't get discussed. He'll just be in the friend zone forever.
Is this the one where he sleeps
friend
at her
zone
house?
Yeah.
Yeah, the friend zone doesn't exist, Callum. It's a myth
Mate.
created by the patriarchy.
Nah, the friend zone totally exists.
Seems
I
like
am an expert of the friend zone. I'm pretty sure it exists.
seems like this is a discussion for maybe not Stranger
Off
Things.
podcast.
No, this is for the new podcast me and Jacob are doing called the Discussion Podcast. That's a
Because
joke.
I'd actually be down for that.
Yeah, to be honest, I think we might have to do that. Anyway, then they stay over, but Steve sees them together because Steve's become the creep. It's a role reversal. Oh, it's genius. Oh my god. Sorry, I'm trying to hype every single thing about this show up like the fans do. Then like they figure out there's another missing kid. Like Hopper thinks there's another missing kid out and basically figures out that 11 might be alive or 11 might be a thing. The boys try and like get back together because there's like they're all different places now because
of the
11
murderization,
powered ET monster.
and the near killing of each other. You know that also kind of breaks friendships.
Yeah, that would do that.
Hopper and Joyce go after some person, like who might have had their kids taken away from them.
Yes, the alleged mother of 11.
11. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what the worst thing about Orphan Black was in season 2 or season 1 when they introduced their mother, like the actual mother of
the
characters?
Yeah.
Yeah. This was as bad as that. It's like, yeah, okay, I didn't need to know who 11's mother was. Thanks, but no thanks. I get why it's there for the characters, but it's one of those things where, that's a bit of an anticlimax, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was just saying this. I do recall from this episode. Steve gets his face reassembled by Jonathan.
I mean, that's one way to put it.
Yeah, I was trying to find a good way of putting it. Yeah, Yes, I thought that was nice to see Steve.
Wait,
getting a good beat in.
We're in episode 6 now, aren't we? As well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Isn't this the one where we have the most iconic scene from all of Stranger Things of 11 shoplifting some Eggo waffles?
Might be.
I don't know.
Because this is when she runs away for a bit, isn't it?
Yes, because next episode is when they build a bath. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, Mike goes after her, and they're in love. God damn it! Like,
Nancy
goddamn
and
gender roles and having forced romance. It really irritates me in this show.
As you also get Lucas basically takes off. Isn't he by himself at this point? And he's going off looking for the portal.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so it
The
seemed
professionalism here is on point.
I think I recall it had like a massive searching tracking technology.
This is also the episode where Lucas is going after the gate and finds the lab. But then Mike and Dustin are confronted by the bullies from earlier. And we get a scene right out of it. Like the original novel, but a little bit PG down. It's the closest thing to risque the show does, where they get a switchblade out and
start to cut
and start to threaten to cut unless Mike jumps off the cliff that Will supposedly died off.
And he actually jumps.
And you're like, what?
Yeah.
But then, of course, there's the Back to the Future moment, and
Back to the Future 2, hell yeah.
And Al levitates him up and uses his power to break one of the bully's arms.
Yep.
That
and
was
then
a
we
pretty
kind
good
of
moment.
we get the flashback that basically confirms that Al kind of was in the psychic realm, found the monster, and kind of pulled it to the two worlds together, maybe.
Because she was in that the submerged thing, the what was it, like the psychic
and sensory deprivation chamber.
That's the one.
And then we get like as they get home, we get like an agent posted outside as a repairman going, they're in the house.
Yeah.
And then we get next episode the bathtub, which is a really dumb name for an episode, but sure. And we get their version of the chase from ET.
Yeah.
But with flipping vans.
Yep.
So
a slightly cooler version of this chase from ET.
I'm sorry, the chase from ET is the best bit of ET.
It actually is a really good bit of ET. Like,
it's the only good bit of ET. What? I didn't say anything. What are you talking about? No.
ET is just an intergalactic phone salesman.
Anyway,
the first time he says it, he doesn't say ET phone home. He says ET home phone.
Yeah.
He's just trying to sell a new package.
Anyway, then so the bad men are on their way. Yep. So they reunite together to run away from the bad men, and then 11 uses her power to flip a truck. And it's possibly my favourite episode, just because I saw a truck flip.
Yeah, and they actually did it practically as well, you could tell. So it's like, props to them.
Yeah, they actually trained the actress in psychic powers and made her flip the truck.
No, I meant as in... You know what I mean. They actually flipped a truck.
Help myself. Yeah. Meanwhile, everyone meets up and gives their bit of information that we already knew.
And they all piece together.
They all piece stuff together. Yeah. And then...
Don't they hide at like the scrapyard at some point? Or something?
Yeah. And then also... we get the one episode where Karen and Ted, Mike's mum and dad, actually play some sort of importance. They get asked, do they know anything about 11, and they say no.
Yep.
And that's their continuation for the plot.
I will say, Mike's dad, he just, I don't know, he just seems like a fool, perhaps the best
stereotype.
Way. Yeah,
that's a stereotype.
Yeah, he is 80s dad, number 3.
Yeah.
I think he says this line of, "We always need to trust the government."
Yeah,
it's like, oh,
and then we get like this redemption arc for Steve, where Tommy and Carol, his two best mates who are bullies and should have died in the show because we needed more people to die, just because no one dies in this show.
It's always season 2.
Yeah, hopefully. Let's just say hopefully. They're like being mean to Nancy, and he's like, "No, I've had enough of this, guys."
Yeah.
Like, I'm a changed person now. Why? Because the power of boner is powerful than bullying.
Yep.
I
popped her.
Yeah. The team decided to get together to help make 11 a bath to use her psychic powers in.
Yeah, their own version of a sensory deprivation chamber.
Yeah. And they try to find Barbara and Will, and when they find Barbara, it's just her hanging corpse.
Yep, she did.
She did. She super did.
Which was a disappointment, but you kind of knew she was dead straight from the off because she got dragged back into that.
Yeah. But also, we see a slug slither from her mouth.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like a suggestion that maybe monsters come from people.
Yeah, like...
Maybe it's like it's like a lava form.
Yeah, it's like an alien-esque,
This will come into something interesting next episode.
Yeah.
At the end. So they go into the lab as well to try and find Will. They're going to break in and go after Will.
Yeah. That's Nancy and Hopper, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they go there and...
Yeah.
I kind of like the scene where the lead guy of the researching thing is sat across from Hopper and you're talking to him. And he basically says, Hopper's like, let us go in after him.
Yeah.
Give us what you want.
They get questioned and then he's like, Hopper's like, let me go in after him.
Yeah.
I'm a cool cop. I can do everything.
Don't you know I'm Hellboy? I can do this.
Yeah. He has been cast as Hellboy, which I think is not great casting.
But Nancy and Jonathan also go... Do they go through the entrance they found?
No,
No, they essentially decide
to set a trap at the house
by luring him with blood.
Yes, this is the scene where there's like the 3 of them and they all fight them off, isn't it?
Yeah, because they figured out blood brings it over. Like it's like a shark; you can smell blood.
I'm sorry, if that's what happened, why isn't like half the town dead?
Yeah.
Like, you cut yourself on a daily instance. Like, I had a nosebleed yesterday for about 2 seconds. I'd be eaten by a monster. It's such a silly show. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I kind of liked the Home Alone style they took with the traps, though.
they go after Will. They save Will. Meanwhile, the monsters start attacking everywhere, and then the kids are like stuck in the school. And 11 comes along and just evaporates one of the monsters.
But like, and herself in the doing
herself,
so.
Yeah, but not in the same way. She just vanishes. The monster kind of goes.
Yeah.
It's the best way I could describe what happens.
But it is a weird visual effect, like.
Yeah. And then meanwhile, like everyone else survives pretty much.
Yep.
And then they find.
I did like how like all those guys. I still wonder like this monster. How on earth would Will survive when you know all these agents basically filling her with bullets? How much damage can this creature take?
Yeah.
It's just
Also, like, Will has managed to go undetected for this entire time up until episode 7. The monster grabs him and doesn't kill him.
He gets detected in episode 3, I think it is, because that's when he moves from the house to the shed. Or like that little like
but
hidey hole they've
still
got
on the run. He's still on the run until episode 7.
Yeah.
And then he gets found by the monster, but it doesn't kill him because he's like there's a tendril in his throat.
It might not have killed Barb immediately. All we saw was her body hung up. Like, it might not kill humans immediately because Barb and Will are the only 2 humans we really see it interact with in the Upside Down.
I swear to God, if next season we get the monster talking through the psychic vision of Barb, I'm going to start killing people. I've just had that thought, and I can totally see them doing it.
Yeah, sort of almost Independence Day style-y.
Yeah. Or what else does it? What was I thinking of? A bit like how the clown is just like a psychic like projection.
Yeah.
To lure people in. That kind of thing. Also, to cover up what happens at the end of the show, everyone's kind of alive. Jonathan and Nancy are in the friend zone while Nancy goes back to Steve because this show is awful.
Yep.
The lads are all playing D&D again.
Don't they go to like an arcade at some point as well?
Yeah, they still have the fort for 11.
Yeah.
Hopper's working for the
scientists?
bad guys, maybe.
Yeah,
possibly.
possibly. Not quite.
He goes out to the forest wood and puts some Eggo waffles in a box in the forest.
Or maybe I don't know. He just sort of knows something about 11 that everyone else missed somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, because Hopper's ultra cop.
Yeah.
And then we got we got the family back together: Will, Jonathan, and Joyce. And then he goes to. Will goes to the bathroom, coughs up a black slug, and momentarily phases into the Upside Down world.
Yeah.
So he's in danger now, or something, and that's it happens 1 month after. So that's 1 month after. How come nothing happens for another year?
What I'm thinking is, I don't know, the slug being in this world has made the 2 worlds closer together, almost.
Maybe.
And maybe the whole thing of the slug is the larval thing of that monster, and maybe because that slug will be growing up in our world and not in the Upside Down, it might be different. It might,
Yeah, or maybe it's just a lot of nonsensical baloney.
Yeah, there's also that choice. Yeah.
So let's cover our thoughts on the season as a whole. You 2 go first.
Well,
I'll let Pete go.
Right, I was going to say, I wasn't sure what to expect with Stranger Things for starter, but to us, I really enjoyed the overall season.
Yeah.
Perhaps they're probably, I don't know, sometimes you think there perhaps there's one too many characters. Well, no, because you had almost like three plot lines trying to work together, and then the opening season perhaps was a little difficult. But I still really enjoyed the overall theme, the atmosphere being sort of 1980s small USA environments. I really enjoyed that. Yeah. And open to see. Well, perhaps I don't quite get all the flashbacks and callbacks to certain things. I still like hearing about them and looking at them when I listen to other people talking about the show. So yeah, that's my thoughts really. Jacob?
Yeah. Overall, I quite enjoyed it. Like I do have problems with it. Like I do think it tells you too much too quickly. I think if it withheld some of the elements of the mystery from the audience, it would have been a better show. Right, the fact you knew everything that was going to happen by episode 4 kind of ruined it a bit, but unlike Callum, I enjoyed seeing the characters come to the realizations that you already had. Like, I kind of liked that. And watching the ways they went about it, and the ways they figured it out with actual doing things rather than just being told it. But I could have really done with not knowing the information and learning it through them learning it. And it almost feels like there was another version of the show, because
yes, I agree.
It feels like there was a version that had where you did learn it all through the characters.
Yeah.
And then the writers went, nah, we need to write bits in that tell the audience everything.
Yeah. It's better than Hemlock Grove, but that's because Hemlock Grove is utter arse. This show is the most overrated thing since Game of Thrones. It's it's not the worst, but it's people kind of point it out as being, it's 80s nostalgia. Yeah, it's like the 80s you think were real, or if you weren't there, it's what you think 80s nostalgia was. But it's not. Like, it doesn't honour what it's pretending to reference. It just... You can do horror comedy. You can do horror... you can do horror things that, reference and do honour to past versions of horror, and you can do it PG. Yeah. The Final Girls is a really good example of that. It's a really fun, 12 rated horror movie comedy. It's great. I really enjoyed it. Netflix have just released 2 of really fun horror comedies that I like. Well, one of them's PG, one of them isn't. Yeah. But they are fine. It's just that this show, I think a lot of it's my expectation. I had a really high expectation on the show. Yeah. But it didn't hit it because I was expecting gore. I was expecting an 80s horror movie. Yeah. What I got was a Disney TV show in comparison. You know what I mean? I just found it really disappointing. I agreed the mystery was too simple. You got all the answers too soon. And also, I want to pick up on what you said, Peter, about there being too many characters. I don't think it's about there being too many characters. I think it's the inconsistency of those characters.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
The kids, however much are annoying, they are the best written arc. They have a simple, there's a few odd bits of it, but it's pretty simple all the way through. Joyce is a disaster. Hopper is cool, but it's a lot of it doesn't really work. It suggests a lot, but it doesn't do anything with it. And then Nancy and Jonathan Steve's story just drives me mad.
Can I just say though, I will say the child actors they got in this, as child actors go, bloody brilliant.
They are.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I quite like the girl who plays Nancy as well, but
yeah,
it's just a shame that the lighting's not great. Yeah. So that's kind of the review I have. It's not as good as you think it is, but it's not the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Before we go into...
So let's talk about season 2.
Yeah, boy.
There's 2 trailers out.
There is. You got the Comic-Con trailer and the final trailer.
Yep. I prefer the Comic Con. No, I prefer the final trailer a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot more action packed, and we get a lot more different things. The Comic Con trailer seems to focus a hell of a lot on the lads.
Yeah.
As I'm now calling them. If you're British, you might not get that.
But the first trailer seems a bit more subtle, setting it up, mystery. The other trailer just seems to, everything is going action.
Yeah. But like, if the show's not going to do any horror, give me some action.
You know what I mean? Let them find that giant spider thing in the sky. That'd be interesting.
He's gonna go Dragon Ball Z. She's gonna go Super Saiyan. She's gonna start glowing.
This is a reference back to our Star Trek podcast we did.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not involved in that. Too negative for that show.
Be sure to, if you want to check the reference, you must go and watch or listen to it.
On my channel, Nerds.
Oh no!
Steal all those views from Paul Pete.
Oh no!
That's how this one goes. Anyway, so this trailer, it focuses a hell of a lot on 11, Mike, and Will. Yeah. There's hints of other characters. We see a little bit of Nancy and Jonathan's story. It seems like Steve's story's kind of changed direction. Like, he doesn't seem to be involved with Nancy too much. Joyce is being crazy again, which I am not looking forward to.
Well, she's kind of been great because her son is getting up. It's weird because she looks like she's in like a lab outfit or like.
I think halfway through the show, Will's going to start acting super weird, and they're going to take him to the lab because Hopper's going to reveal he's working for them. Yeah. I actually think I've got the plot here. I think all the action scenes we're seeing are from the last 3 episodes.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
And I think we're getting some really interesting. I don't know. It's
Shall I drop my theory bomb that I dropped on you?
Yeah. And it drives me mad, but you're right.
Because you see a new female character added to the lads. You've got this ginger girl. And my very first thought was, she is going to be Mike's new love interest, so that when 11 gets reintroduced, there's tension there, because there was a love interest thing with Mike and 11 in the first season, and it's going to be a whole weird thing between Mike, 11, and this new ginger girl.
Oh, yeah. Too true. Or she might be a love interest for Lucas.
Possibly, yeah.
Because Lucas is getting development this season because his parents are in it.
Yeah.
Get parents, you get development. Poor Dustin still has no parents. I don't know. It's quite an exciting trailer. There's a lot there, and I don't really know if we can do a frame breakdown.
Yeah, what I think it's doing is it's doing it again. It's, even though a lot of people are a little bit disappointed in the first season, a lot of people loved it, but now looking back on it, you're like, it wasn't as great as I thought it was the first time round.
Yep.
And this trailer is making you hyped. Like, it's a well put together trailer that's making you excited. It's showing
all of the cool bits, but none of the stuff that made last season really bad.
Yeah. So it's doing a really good job of getting people excited, and I watch it, I'm like, ooh.
I get the tingle down my spine that's saying, "Oh man."
I mean, I think a lot of concern I've heard about is the fact that this season has been written in a very short period of time, in comparison to the first season. There is because
I mean,
I honestly didn't know what that sound was then, but then I realised it was Jacob.
Yeah.
I'm soundbiting that piece of beautiful sound.
Cut.
That was my, derision almost. I don't know how much I agree with that statement thing.
That sounds horrid. I agree. God, no. Things written in a short amount of time is never a good sign. But there's like a Goldilocks zone. If it was written in a year, that's pretty good, right? If it was written under 6 months, you're in trouble. If it was written in a year, but then got like rewrote about 7 times, that film is gonna suck.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, you could always argue that maybe they had plans for season 2 in writing season 1, and writing a second season usually takes. Writing a second season usually doesn't take as long as writing the first season, because you know the first season is developing the characters, the second season is just continuing, and because of the popularity of the first season, they probably got a way bigger writing team,
or they got away with more. I think like Netflix were like, all right, you got the first season done well. It was successful enough. We're not going to cancel you along with Sense8. We're going to keep you around for another season. We want to make 80 movies this year, so yes, you can be one of our projects, and just do whatever you want. This is my impersonation of someone who runs Netflix.
I thought I was in the room with like in the Netflix board of directors then for a moment.
Yeah, it was
stunning.
Transported.
Yeah, transported, weren't you? So yeah, I don't know. It could be good, it could be bad, but you already knew that.
Yeah, like I'm excited. I'm cautiously optimistic. Is how I'm thinking I'm going to put it.
I'm happy to see. Oh, let me get his name up because.
Oh, this is where you got to bring it back to Power Rangers, isn't it?
He's in the trailer. All right, he's in the trailer. Dacre Montgomery, there we go. I didn't even need to look it up. Dacre Montgomery.
But the big question is, does he get in a Megazord and
he's got a good name.
And fight?
Oh, he's gonna die. Oh, he's gonna die so quick.
Spider creature.
Oh, he's
is
so
he?
dead. He's
is
so dead.
he this season's? Oh my god, I've forgotten her name.
Barbara,
yeah.
No. He's the stand-in for Steve being the bully.
Ah.
That's why Steve is with the kids. I think he's like this super bully, and the lads are going to team up with Steve to fight him.
I don't know. Or either that, or he's going to be this season's Barbara and die by the end of episode 1.
Yeah. Or maybe the true villain is his hair.
But wait. It's because he's a big Hollywood actor now, you know, because he was the Red Power Ranger in the new movie.
Yeah.
They could only afford him for the first episode.
Yeah. Do you honestly think that Saban pay more than $2 an hour for someone?
Yeah, true.
You kidding me? Anyway, yeah. Is there anything anyone else wants to say about this upcoming season of Stranger Things? Any hopes and dreams of Stranger Things?
Well, I'm just
season 2.
I don't know.
I hope they haven't bitten off more than they can chew.
It's a good shout. I hope that
because
I don't get mad at the romances in this show for more than 2 seconds.
They seem to be going really big.
Yeah.
Okay. What I'm gonna do, right? Okay, I'm gonna draw a comparison almost.
Okay. Shoot.
The first season is almost Alien-esque. Because, not in like thingy, I'm just saying because it's just them and it's one monster and the monster's very powerful.
Yeah, I get you. Yep.
Yeah. And that one monster has a lot of threat.
Yeah.
In season 2, giant starfish tentacle monster.
Yeah.
Well, no, I was going to go. It could even go as bad as Alien into the game Aliens Colonial Marines.
Yeah.
Like, where they just take that original monster and make it look like nothing.
I would argue Alien does that, but that's just my opinion. Yeah.
I think that's a real worry that they've put themselves in.
I mean, I'm hoping that I don't know jokes about this like giant creature, but I'm hoping they don't show too much of it too quickly. Because I think perhaps it might be not just a creature, perhaps there's some sort of like higher intelligence. Maybe they could be hinting at.
And do you know what? I've just clicked on
sorry,
something.
Pete, I'm not actually in it. I can't. I'm going to spoil it. There's no higher intelligence in it. I'm not in the show.
Do you know what I've just clicked?
Go ahead.
There's going to be some sort of story arc where they think they're going to have to kill Will to kill the creature because him and the creature are somehow linked.
Yeah. I mean, we're not getting a chest burster scene, which is a shame. I'm up for seeing a kid have a giant monster burst out of his body, but I can only dream.
Yeah, I've just realised that's probably something they're going to do. They're probably going to threaten to kill Will, and they're like, oh no, there must be another way, and Eleven's going to superpower it.
Yeah, 11's going to Yeah, can we? I think we can already decide at the end of season 2 of Stranger Things.
11's going to superpower.
11's going to superpower it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. I think if that wraps up what we think of season 2, we'll talk about perhaps when obviously season 2 comes out this upcoming Friday.
Yeah.
And we'll
watch in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, we'll try and go back in 2 weeks' time. Hopefully have Will with us.
Hopefully.
If he has recovered from whatever.
Alive.
Yeah, he's recovered whatever ailments.
No, none of us have seen Will in a few days, so he could be in the Upside Down. I might have to go and... none of us have got a Nancy, have we?
Oh my god. How have we gone all of this episode without drawing the similarity that both characters that that aren't here?
Oh my god! Oh!
How have we not been playing this joke?
I missed that. So right. Will is also missing. Okay, right. So that makes me. Wait. Which one of us is Lucas, Dustin, and Mike?
I mean, I'm Mike, right?
What?
I mean, I'm obviously Mike, right?
I mean, where? But what's that make me? Does that make me Dustin or
yes?
Or, okay, that makes me Dustin, and Pete can be Lucas.
I'm suffering with brain damage after being slammed into a wall by our group's 11, who is unknown at this moment.
Screw it. I'm Hobbs. On that disastrous realization.
We need to go to our channel planning. So remember, if you have liked this content, I'm use that word, please subscribe to either Nerds the Verse or EuroHybrid, wherever you listen to now, or maybe subscribe to both.
Or only subscribe to Nerds the Verse.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Pete, show your competition.
Yeah. Go on, shill yourself, you cheap woman.
Right, so at the moment on my channel EuroHybrid, I'm running a competition up to the 10th of November where you can win a Borg cube from Eagle Moss. So you need to subscribe and comment on the video, and in order to be eligible for the competition. So
meanwhile, on our channel, we're doing one podcast a week.
2.
About literally anything. Honestly, at this point, it's just whatever we can think about.